had our debate last night. And since this is the last debate we're gonna have, it's the last big scheduled thing in the election. Obviously, stuff can happen. The question was, who won and will it matter? Will this actually shake up the race? And almost immediately I thought, oh my God, it might. Because I saw Charlie Kirk, he tweeted the first instant poll shows 97% think Trump won. Now, yes, he did say that immediately after the first debate, and it turned out to be totally true. So totally untrue. So I'm sure he's being more careful this time. And it was buttressed though with Donald Trump tweeting out this: who won? Trump was at 96%. That might have been the poll Charlie Kirk was talking about. Now you'll notice there that the words "who won" are in bold, which is what happens when Twitter is showing you the terms you searched for. And he tweeted out many of those, and "who won" was bolded in all of them. So he was a thirsty, desperate person following the debate. But it turned out that a Twitter poll from the Blaze isn't necessarily as methodologically rigorous approach to polling as you might think it is. Because CNN with SRS actually did a real poll, and 53% said Joe Biden won, 39% said Donald Trump won. There was a second poll by a progressive firm, Data for Progress, again, doing an actual poll, not a website thing or a Twitter thing. 52% said Biden won, 41% said that they thought that Trump won. We have YouGov, 54% think Joe Biden won, 35% think Donald Trump was victorious. Those are roughly in line with each other. A narrow win for Biden, not that dissimilar from the national polling, honestly, those two numbers.
Yeah, Trump lost the debate. Any reasonable human being who's not doing all the BS. And it's tough. I think the difference between Democrats or people on the left and people on the right is people on the right are fine with being jerks and disingenuous, generally. Like that has been, that's okayed inside them. I'm talking about like political figures and media personalities. They're fine with just being disingenuous, obviously wrong jerks. That thing that bothers us when the evidence doesn't support our argument doesn't bother them. They know that it's all an act. They know it's all a charade. They know that it's all about messaging people nonstop, constantly, and reinforcing each other's BS to the point where all you've seen is the same message, so it must be true. That bothers us, and we want to back it up with actual poll, with actual evidence. And we'll tell you when something doesn't fit in with a narrative we've created. This is not that. This is Trump losing, and then him desperately logging into his Twitter account with the password we found out, MAGA 2020 exclamation point. Did you hear that one? Someone hacked into his account because his password was MAGA 2020 exclamation point, which is a step up from the previous time he was hacked when his password was "you're fired." This guy's an idiot, but that's it. And he has exposed the vulnerability near the exhaust port, and he's just gone hard in it.
I approve of that last reference there. Yeah, you're 100% right. My God, his passwords. Now, as a demonstration of what you were just saying, that we actually care about what's true, we gave you the numbers. That's the best information we have right now, but I will add context to it. That's literally the only thing I'm here to do. The gap between Biden and Trump in that was closer than in the first debate. So it appears that Biden won, but it also appears that Trump did better relative to Biden than he did in the first debate. And if we could jump ahead to the last graphic, the Frank Luntz thing, maybe this is an explanation of potentially why. His focus group words to describe Trump include controlled, reserved, poised, con artist, surprisingly presidential. Words to describe Biden, vague, unspecific, elusive, defensive, grandfatherly. I mean, those first four were obviously about Trump. I don't understand exactly how they came away with that thought that Trump was whiny and emotional and he was spitting out conspiracy theories. But you mentioned the CNN undecided poll or panel. 9 of those chose Biden afterwards, 0 Trump, and 2 weren't sure. So, there you're seeing, by the way, that 70% of voters liked the muting of the mics too. So maybe this will help Trump a tiny little bit in comparison to a failure like the first debate, but this does not seem like the sort of result that's gonna massively swing polls in the next few days.
When I see those Frank Luntz focus group words, all I see is proof that Trump is such a failure and was such a petulant brat during the first debate that what we saw yesterday, comparatively speaking, was controlled, reserved, and poised. He was still an idiot.
Yeah.
He still rambled. None of what he said made sense when put together. He was still flailing, but he has lowered the bar so low that compared to the rambling wreck that he was the first time around, this was not so terrible by comparison.
Yeah, maybe. He did better, I guess, than I would have expected. His strategy of just implying tons of illegal stuff about Biden as a last, like Hail Mary, maybe that'll help a little bit. I don't know, but they've been trying to do that. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.